And then we're going to be reacting to a video about whether British soldiers would shoot civilians. If you want to watch this without me talking, the link is in the description. Otherwise, I'll presume you want to know what I've got to say in regard to any of this. I haven't watched it yet, but see what's what.
There is a lot going on in the UK right now.
Yeah, it's like, to be honest, it's full pelt. It never seems like there's 2 seconds when there's not something earth-shattering happening. Been relatively, I would say, by comparison, it's been boring, like past 2 decades compared to sort of how this decade started.
There's talks of civil unrest, rebellion, revolution, or similar happening within the next few months, or some say in 2029. Either way, the UK is on the brink. And we've done a video on this previously, but I thought we'd cover it again because a lot of people are asking.
No, to be fair, I've never watched. I don't think I have anyway. And I would say, no, I don't think they would. To be honest, it'd be like in V for Vendetta when they have the opportunity and they're meant to shoot, and they're like, oh well, they're my own people. I'm not going to shoot them. I think that would probably play out. I'm quite honest with you.
If it does happen, and it does really kick off, which side are the British?
I mean, not to say that everybody won't. There might be some soldiers that do, but I think they would be a hyper minority and probably dealt with pretty sharpish. But you know, there might be an event, maybe I could say, where the military might become a bit too heavy-handed in an interaction, which then becomes the match to set off what could be mass civil unrest. But I've said this before in other videos, I think it would probably stem from Ireland into the UK and then into the rest of Europe from there, and it would come that direction. That's my prediction anyway.
Army the British Armed Forces going to choose? Now, I'm Craig, a former British soldier, and that's what we're going to be breaking down in today's video. But before we start, if you could like, share and subscribe, it's hugely appreciated and it helps push the video and the channel. And head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk.
And just while it's plugging as well, right, you have to let me know, is this the Pirates of the Caribbean one? I forgot Captain Jack Sparrow's ship's name now. It's completely escaping me. I'm sure it looks like that one.
Okay, link is in the description. Check out our t-shirts and our amazing tasting coffee. Getting into it then. First of all, how would the British Army or the British military be deployed? You've got martial law.
Yeah, I mean, I don't 100% know. I've never been in the military, so I wouldn't be able to. I don't think I'd be able to give a credible guess exactly how they would first rolled out.
Or you've got a military coup, or you've just got some form of emergency powers, but they're basically be in support of the police, unless martial law really is called. But more than likely, there'll be some sort of mass protests or riots. The police...
I will say I don't want martial law or a coup, but out of those two, I think a coup is more likely than martial law, if I'm being quite frank.
...would struggle to handle with the manpower, and the army will be called in to support. They are not there to take lead, unless, like I said, martial law comes into power. They are there to support the police. Basically bolster the patrols, the amount of personnel they can put on the streets. The police are the ones that deal with law and order and the arresting, and then the army just basically provide the support.
I'm quite honest, right? Most of the people I know that have been in the military don't like the police that much. So, I mean, you're going to ask a load of squaddies to start, you know, performing the duties of police. I don't think that's going to quite play out how it would be imagined in the politicians' heads.
But say it really does start to kick off. Picture it. You walk outside. You've got the police and the army and any other sort of armed forces one side. You've got the civilian population, whatever faction it is, basically arguing. Police and army are standing their ground. Bricks are being thrown. Petrol bombs are being thrown. The army would be there with their weapon systems, okay, their rifles, more than likely pistols as well. Or
yeah. They're not going to show up with cuddly toys, are they? Or, you know, plushies, as some might call them. I'm not trying to mock him, but I think it's obvious when you have the army around that they're going to have weapon systems set to kill. I know that's not a thing, but, you know, just for the make a broad, facetious point, yeah, we get the point that these soldiers they're bringing the weapons with them.
They just be in riot gear. But let's just say that they have. They're fully kitted up, ready to go, armed and ready. This is the most professional, highly disciplined, courageous armed forces in the world. Are they really going to open up on their own civilians? Let's say in the
Yeah, I'll say again, no, I don't think they will. Not going to happen.
centre of London. Look, if there was an immediate threat to life, let's just say the other side, who are causing all this disruption and chaos on the streets of London, we say, or Birmingham or Manchester, and there was an immediate threat to life, they generally do have the rules of engagement to engage. They can use whatever force is necessary and proportionate and reasonable to the action or the offence that's being committed. So if they really have to, I reckon they would. But would they generally just open fire and engage unarmed civilians on the streets of London, Birmingham or Manchester just because there was some form of protest or riot going on? Comment below what you think. Do you think they would? Or would the British Armed Forces, the British Army, our citizens, they're from our communities, our streets, would they just hold fire and try to basically engage and calm the situation?
I mean, hopefully they try and calm it down without killing people, to be honest. Because I think if you kill people, then they become martyrs. They give validity to whichever side they were martyred on this behalf of, not the behalf of. Not sure how to word that part, but yeah. Ideally, not going to be a good idea and going to play out positively in the long run. Just going to be counterproductive, work more people up into a fever pitch. Yeah. Well, but we'll see what else he has to say.
In another way, because it's a lot opening up on your enemy. It's even more to open up on your own citizens.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the example in there from the Vietnam War where many people who were signed up would shoot in the trees above the heads of the enemy because they didn't actually want to go and kill people. And while that's not the same example, you can imagine people who, even though they have signed up and they have willingly taken on the notion that it will kill people, to think that they are going to have to kill people from their own country. And, if they get deployed to their area, it could be friends and family or be anybody. And they are only human, they're not machines. So are they going to do it? And it does make you quite skeptical, doesn't it? If they did replace humans with robots in the military, how easy they would be able to do martial law by comparison to being able to do it with human beings, which are flawed in that aspect, I suppose. Not as easy to control by their very nature.
And as we've been talking about what's going on in Britain, what's going on around the world, it's pretty much in the middle of World War III. US, Israel, Iran, Ukraine and Russia. What else is going on in the Middle East? Syria, North Korea getting involved. Possibly.
Yeah, it's all going off, and then there's like uprisings as well, like what happened in Nepal, and there's been a few other attempts elsewhere. It's all sort of kicking up all around the world, to be honest.
China, it's all kicking off. But in the UK right now, people really think it's even worse. We do have a lot going on. So this question gets answered a lot. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. But in my personal opinion, unless there was generally some sort of immediate threat to life, where someone on the opposite side has a weapon system themselves, some form of rifle or something, or about to put a machete to someone, they're not just going to open fire into a crowd of civilians that are protesting. The other big question, would they actually deploy on the streets and go against the British citizens? Once again, these are people from...
I mean, I doubt it. I doubt that as well, to be honest. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong about other things in the past, but I doubt it.
Your streets, from your communities, from your areas, people that you may know. Look, they are allowed to disobey an unlawful order. You are. Someone says open fire on that group of people. They're not... If there's no reason to and there's no actual law that you can, criminal law, military law, UK law, you can't just open fire on unarmed civilians. If that order is given, you have the right and should disobey it. But to be deployed on the streets to support the police, you can't just go disobeying an order like that. Would some people? Yeah, most probably.
I'm pretty sure the British police don't really have I mean, there will be some instances where they're able to open fire if they are armed response police, but I would say ideally the police don't make orders for just open fire at will, fire at will. I'm sure that's not something that happens in the police. Let me know if I'm wrong though. If the police do have the means of which to be able to just indiscriminately open fire into a crowd of potential threats, then let me know.
If they have genuine thoughts and they agree with what the protest is or the people that are rioting, they go, actually, that is generally, I'm on side of them. They may refuse to go on the streets. But the majority of British soldiers would actually deploy on the streets. They're not just going to not deploy. But opening fire is a completely different situation and a different scenario. And I can't see him just doing that. Is civil war and civil unrest coming? Are we going to see soldiers on the streets? Are we going to see different...
I mean, I'll just answer these questions from my perspective. And I hope not. I hope we don't have a civil war. And my prediction in the past has been that it's more than likely. I mean, I hope we don't. I hope we can resolve this without mass conflict, because it would be far worse than any of us have really got pictured in our heads when friend kills friend and family kill family, and there's checkpoints and warlords take over all the warehouses and etc. And it'll be far worse than what we've all got, the glory that we have pictured in our heads. So hopefully we don't have to come. But I certainly would not be surprised if it did occur.
Different factions fighting it out. Possibly, very likely. We spoke about it. David Bett's absolute legend when it comes to this sort of stuff. He's the SME. He discusses it. You've got a lot of other people discussing it. But, opening fire is a whole new scenario, whole different situation. Anyway, I'd love to know what your thoughts are, so please do let us.
Yeah, link for this is in the description if you want to go let him know, seeing as this is his video and everything. I mean, feel free to put what you think in my comments as well and give me a like and subscribe. I'll leave this here for the minute because I think he's winding down his video, but you might want to catch his other content. Maybe you'll agree more with him than me, or even though I'm not sure I disagree with a lot of what he said. And I'll see you in the next video anyway.